Hey guys, welcome back to Blazed and Confused, and today we're going to be talking about the return of Darren Till and 5 potential opponents he could face in the Octagon. So I think Darren Till is a very talented fighter. I think he's got a ton of potential behind him. He's been training with Khamzat Chimaev recently, which I think would be good to develop his skills a lot more. And Khamzat Chimaev is a very good up and coming talent right now. He's scheduled to face Gilbert Burns on April 9th, UFC 274. So I think, it's very good of Darren Till to sort of get that experience with truly elite level fighters. I know Khamzat also trains with Gustafsson, so I think this could definitely be a good stepping stone for Darren Till to sort of get back into the elite of the middleweight division. But looking at the 5 potential opponents I believe he could face, coming in at number 5 is Edmen Shahbazyan. Now I believe these guys are both sort of at a crossroads with the UFC. Edmen Shahbazyan's on a 3-fight losing streak. Darren Till, I believe he is 1-4 in his last 5 fights. So these guys are both on a bit of a skid, and I think it'd be a good test for Darren. Stylistically, a more favourable matchup to him because Edmen is mainly a boxer, and if there is a weakness in his game, it is his grappling. So I think this would be a good matchup for Till to still cement himself as a top 15 middleweight and sort of get back into the top 10, start calling them names out. As I say, stylistically it definitely favours Darren. I think Darren is the better boxer. If there is a weakness in Darren's game, it's also his grappling, so there's no doubt in my mind that this would be a pure striking match. So I think it would be a really good fight. But coming in at number 4 is Brad Tavares. Now Brad Tavares is a true veteran in the UFC. He's been in there with some of the best. He's been in there with Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, Derek Brunson. He's been in there with a lot of killers in the middleweight division. And I think this would be another good name for Darren to add on his resume to again cement himself as still a top 15 middleweight. Stylistically it's similar to Shahbazyan fights. They're both high level strikers, so there's no doubt it would be a stand and bang. It would be a good test for Darren to sort of prove his striking, prove his stand in the division. Coming in at number 3, we've got Uriah Hall. Now Uriah Hall and Darren Till have had a bit of a back and forth. Uriah called Darren out, which I think would have been a great fight. I know he wanted him in London, which I think would have been a very good fight for Darren. Uriah Hall was another veteran in the middleweight division. He's just coming off a loss to Sean Strickland, but Sean Strickland's a killer right now. He's had wins over Chris Weidman. He's been in there with Paulo Costa. He's, as I say, he's faced the who's who of the middleweight division. Robert Whittaker's on there. Another good test for Darren to go in there with a veteran, with a legend in the division, and really prove that he's still one of the elites of the middleweight division, which I think he's lacking, because if you look at who he's lost to, he's lost to Whittaker, he's lost to Brunson, 2 of the best dudes in the division. Obviously before Cannonier, Brunson was on a 5-fight winning streak. He finished Shahbazyan, he was able to finish Darren Till, he beat Ian Heinich, he beat Elias Theodoru, so he's beating all these up and coming contenders. So I think the Uriah Hall fight, as I say, a tricky fight for Darren because Uriah does have good grappling. He is mainly a striker, quite a slow striker, kind of similar striking to Darren. They're both very reliant on their feints and sort of 1-2 punches. It's very rare you really see them do many combos. So this might not be the most exciting fight because they're both very feint and push forward kind of fighters, not very high volume. But as I say, the main thing it would be for Darren is, getting a top 10 win. Obviously Uriah Hall is number 9, so if he were to beat Uriah Hall, it would cement himself in the top 10 of the division. But the next fight I want to talk about now, this is a really exciting one, and one that I thought would be cool to put on. I think, as I say, stylistically it's a very cool fight, but it's Alex Pereira. Now I know Alex Pereira is not ranked, but if you look at his journey into the UFC and who he's beat, the accolades he's achieved, he's a former kickboxing champion of 2 weights, middleweight and light heavyweight. He's got wins over Israel Adesanya, and I know Israel is sort of looking for Darren to get a win. I know Israel really wants to face Darren, but if you look at what this fight could do for Alex, not to disregard Darren, I want to see him back on the winning ways, and I hope he does, and I'm sure he will. But this is a great fight for both fighters to really, get a good win over each other and show to Israel that they're the new blood in their division, and they're looking to take his belt. And I know Alex Pereira called out Jared Cannonier, which I think is a bit unrealistic considering he's fighting for the belt next. But I think if Alex is able to get through Darren, it puts himself in the top 10 of the division. It gives him a shot maybe towards a Sean Strickland or even a Derek Brunson. So it's a good fight for Alex. It's a great fight for Darren if he is able to beat the guy that beat Israel. And I know it was in kickboxing, so it's different, but that's still a win over Israel at where he's best, in my opinion. Israel is a great kickboxer, one of the best in the UFC at the minute. So if Darren is able to beat Alex and shut the rematches of an Adesanya fight down, it puts him in a very good situation where Darren can maybe even spring forward to getting a title shot, or at least being one win away from beating a top 5 to getting a title shot. So great stylistic matchup. If you've seen Alex's last fight against Bruno Silva, it was a brilliant showcase of kickboxing, jabs. He's got a great jab, he's got a great corner with Glover Teixeira, so I think he's a very highly praised and great up and coming contender. I would say prospect, but he is 35 years old, so he's got a hell of a record on him. I believe he's 5-1. I think he's only lost his debut. So I'd say great opportunity for Darren to get Israel's attention a bit more. Beat the guy that beat him. I think Israel will definitely start looking towards Darren Till a bit more and thinking, oh damn, this guy's actually going to try and come take my belt. And I think that's what Darren needs right now. He needs a big win. He needs a big name on his resume to springboard himself back to that title contention. But coming in at number 1 is Chris Weidman. Now I know this might be a bit of a weird one. Some people considering Chris Weidman's coming off a very unfortunate leg injury which he sustained whilst fighting Uriah Hall. If you've seen the video, it is pretty gruesome. But as I say, Chris Weidman, he's a former middleweight champion. I believe he's a 4-time middleweight champion, which is crazy. He's beat guys like Anderson Silva, Kelvin Gastelum. He's beat Lyoto Machida. So he's beat some very good names in the middleweight division. As I say, this is a good fight for Darren to get a legend, to get a former champ on his resume, which I don't believe he has yet. I don't believe Darren has beaten a former champ. Of all the opponents he's faced, obviously I know he's faced Wonderboy, who fought for the title. He fought Woodley, who's a champion, but he lost. But beating Chris Weidman cements himself as a top 10 middleweight. It puts him back on the map a bit more, with having someone with a bit more credibility on his resume. So it's a great fight for Darren. I know it's a tricky one because, as we've said, with both Shabozian and the Uriah Hall fights, if there is a weakness in his game, it is unfortunately his grappling. But training with Khamzat will surely only elevate that, considering Khamzat is a high level grappler. And if you look at Khamzat's fights in the UFC, I think there's only one fight he didn't utilise his grappling, that's against Gerald Meerschaert, but all of his other fights have been thorough domination of the grappling side. So I think it's a tough matchup for Darren, but it's only going to make him into a better fighter if he is able to acquire rounds with Chris Weidman, as he did with Derek Brunson. It's only going to make his grappling and understanding of it a lot better. So I'm really excited for Darren Till come back. Let me know out of all those 5 guys who you think would be the best stylistic matchup for him. I know Alex Pereira is very exciting. You've got, as I say, Chris Weidman. These top 2 are definitely the ones that I would love to see him come in against. Whether Darren would take the Alex fight, I don't know. I mean, I would understand if he wouldn't want to, considering he isn't ranked. But as I say, massive opportunity for him. Just all round very, very great fights, and I can't wait to see Darren come back. I have a feeling he may return maybe later in the year in Liverpool. I have a feeling he might make a return there, maybe sort of September time. I know he's injured right now, so I think he's looking to sort of return, as he said, on the Bisping podcast when he's 100%. So whether that will be summer, I don't know, but I have a feeling it will be later on in the year, potentially selling out Anfield with Paddy Pemberton. That would be pretty cool. But as I say, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more content coming out this week. There's going to be a Fortnite video which should drop tomorrow. It's very, very entertaining, as well as some more UFC content coming out this week. If you guys didn't see my UFC London fight card breakdown, I'll leave a link in the description where you can check that out and leave all your predictions down below. Stay blazed.